of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. Number one is not here. So Ray, you are up.
Already?
Already.
All right. So just to like to start off, for those that don't know me, my name is Ray Wellington, 34-year member of the Woolkit Fire Department, serving as chief for 9 of those years and 4 as assistant chief. The Woolkit Fire Department is the largest department in the village. We currently have around 40 active members at this time. We respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. To whatever the emergency is, whether it's pumping someone's basement, wires down, trees down, car accident, fire, anything like that, we're responding. Again, we do that for the sake of our community. The village, the community, towns that we serve, town of Woolkit, town of Butler, town of Huron. Just like a couple of points I'd like to address here to the village. We currently have 15 pieces of equipment inside of our fire station down there, including 4 specialized trailers. 2 of them being set up for pump trailers designed for responding to people's flooded basements, whatever it may be. 1 is set up for our cold water rescue trailer. Somebody goes through the ice, it's set up with suits, rescue sled, stuff of that nature that we can respond out to do that type of a rescue. Takes a lot of training to get to that. We train, and we want the outcome for our community. So with that, roughly we're looking at around $2 million worth of pieces of equipment that are sitting down in that fire station down there. Out of those $2 million worth of equipment, majority of those equipments have been raised and purchased through the membership throughout the years. Fund drives, turkey raffles, chicken barbecues, boot drives, stuff of that nature. Again, if you had to go replace that today, you're looking probably around $4 million. So again, the membership, and I say the membership, the guys who, and the gals who participate in the chicken barbecues and the boot drives and stuff of that nature, we raise money throughout the year. We are lucky we have a great community that supports our fire department 100%. And I feel that we are blessed with the donations that we receive through our community members. Again, whether it's a $10 check or whether it's a $10,000 check, that all is appreciated to what we receive as a member. We go about that. We've been blessed. We just received a brand new fire truck that was purchased on a grant that the mayor worked on, and the village board and the fire chief at the time, our current chief and our past chief, worked on that, getting all the information. In my years of being a chief down in that fire department, doing grants, it's a lot of work. I'm going to tell you that right now. It takes a lot of time, a lot of phone calls, back and forth. They need this, you get them this, now they need this and this. You get them this, this, and this, now they need this. It's a lot of work. So, but again, I feel that we as members have been blessed in that respect. Every piece of equipment that is purchased through the fire department, whether it's through taxpayers' funds like our contractual budget, or whether it is through the donations that come in throughout the year. Any piece of equipment we purchase, we automatically turn that over to the village of Woolkit as an asset. That is an asset to the village of Woolkit. So again, like I said, right now, currently, if the village of Woolkit needed to go bond a piece of equipment for another department, they essentially have $2 million worth of assets sitting down there at that fire station that they could utilize. So with that basically being, in the past, our fire budget, and I say our fire budget, our contractual fire budget, was made up of 4 entities. I sat in this room here for many years putting a budget together over my years as being fire chief. It was made up of the town of Butler, town of Woolkit, town of Huron, and the village of Woolkit. That's what our budget was made up of. I have a question, and hopefully I can get an answer tonight. Who currently funds our fire budget?
You just said it. There's 4 entities to it.
Excuse me, I said in the past, it was the town of Woket, town of Butler, town of Huron, and the village of Woket.
Mhm.
So I'm asking now, who currently funds our fire budget?
At the end of the day, the village of Wolcott funds every bit of it. Because it all comes into the village of Wolcott. And each budget is dispersed per department.
Okay, let me back this up here, I guess. I think you know what I'm asking, but I want to ask this maybe a little bit different for the general public. And again, I'm not here. Yes, I guess I'm a little bit frustrated because, again, for the years I put in that fire department and to seeing the way the lack of support that goes into that fire department. So I'm asking right now, right now.
No, we're going to stop right there because I don't know where you come off saying there's lack of support for that fire department. Because not one time do I recognize any board member that never approved something that fire department needed.
Okay,
Let alone all the time put in to get the new engine.
correct. And I
So again,
I
at the
personally
end of the day,
appreciate that.
and even the time that you sat here
Yep.
as chief,
Yep.
I don't remember anything that never got approved.
It's a battle, Chris.
How
It is a battle. It is a battle. So
But honestly, Ray, I don't know of anything that was never told no to the Village of Wolcott Fire Department. There's been conversation, there's good dialogue back and forth. This is where we'd like to be.
Yep.
Each individual that's either sat as a chief does operate quite differently.
correct.
You operated differently than what Jerry operates.
Yep.
Jerry operated differently than how Ryan operates. I mean, that's where it's at. But I gotta tell you, I don't know of anything that where we haven't been supportive for the fire department.
Okay. So let me go on to this. So the town of Butler contributes. Do we have a number how much money the town of Butler contributes to our fire budget?
I have an aggregate of all,
We do.
all 4 of us. So we all do a quarter.
We do a quarter. Okay.
Yeah, all 4 of us do a quarter.
So what was the fire budget for 24-25 year?
You're fired for which year?
For the 24-25, the one we're in right now. So starting June 1, what was the fire budget?
It is $98,000.
$98,000. Okay. So round that up to 100,000. Simple math. The town of Woket contributes $25,000.
The town of Wilka contributes everything that's extra, and it comes out to be a quarter of it, plus whatever else you guys need along the way when we have to do budgetary transfers. So, for example,
You mean he said town of Wolcott, Frank.
oh, I thought you said I thought you said the village.
Right.
No, the town of Woket. So the town of
They all
Woket.
do about between 30. They're all different depending on their size.
Understand
so
that.
it's between 30 and 33,000. Yeah.
So if everybody does equal, so
I didn't say
30.
they did equal.
Pardon?
I didn't say they all did equal. They're all
Average.
different depending on their size.
Yeah. So average of $30,000, right?
Mhm.
Town of Huron might be a little bit more than the town of Butler.
Mhm.
So if that's 30,000 from there, 30,000 from there, and 30,000 from there, and 30,000 from here, 3 times 4 is $120,000.
So, okay, so for example, we can't really go by 24-25 because we don't have the money from the township.
Okay.
Okay? We get that in after April 1st.
Okay.
Okay?
So
Go ahead.
So I will address this at a different time then. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that
Yeah.
offer or that information. So I had to make myself some notes. If not, I just want to carry on and keep going here. So I just want to get this point down. So out of our fire department budget, we have regulations that we have to require. We have to do annual flow testing. We have to do annual hose testing, pump testing, ladder testing. All this stuff has to be done. And yes, this gets approved through the village. The village board sitting here is the administrative body who allows us to where the funds are distributed to. That makes sense, right? That's like no different than running your household business, right? We say this, but we can only do this because we only have this much money. So with all that stuff there, building maintenance and improvements. I look over the years down there, what we have a beautiful facility. I don't know if you, Misty, have you been inside the fire hall?
Yes, it's a nice facility.
It's a beautiful, and Dave, right? Have you been inside the fire hall? I saw you down there last year at our annual elections. You were down there for the dinner. Have you had the chance to actually go through, and Misty, you as well, go through our complete department and see the apparatus that we have?
I've only been where the trucks are for one time, a turkey raffle and one for a birthday party, so I've been to where the,
Like in our engine bay, probably.
yes,
Right.
yep, engine bay in the room on the
Right.
side.
But I'm just saying, as a board member, have you guys been down there and seen the stuff that the fire department has to offer for our community?
No, I'm not.
Like the weight room?
Well, we have a weight room out there. We have a nice training facility that the members paid for, that we built up. And again, we want that. And I personally would invite both of you. I know when Bob Marshall came on board with the village here, him and the other trustee at the time, Chuck Wenzel, I brought them down there and we took them through and showed them the equipment, what we have, what each piece of equipment does. I mean, some people, we talk a pumper, some may not know what a pumper means, or a tanker, or a ladder truck, and stuff like that. So I openly invite anybody to come down there and take a look at that and see what that is. And outside with trainings and stuff like that we do on our own time. We're always going, we have to train, we have to advance, we have to make ourselves better, right? Technology's changing. We just had a class down there on electrical vehicles. I mean, I knew a little bit about electrical vehicles, we talked about them in the past, but really, technology is changing, correct?
Right.
As Dave was involved with getting that course for you guys.
He was, and thank you, we appreciate that. But those are the things that we have to stay up on as members. So I look at all this stuff that goes down. I just know in the past, like, we go out of this department, out of this village, we do outside training. I mean, we're blessed to have a training facility down here. We're also blessed to have a training facility in Lyons, New York. But also, there may be times like in the past, I've traveled down to Montour Falls, took classes on my own time. Went to the National Fire Academy out in Emmitsburg, Maryland, on my own time. We go to Old Forge Fire School. Again, great classes, great training. And I know that was a past. There was some conflict of approval for members to go to that. But again, those are things that I don't know if it was a personal attack or what that deal was. But the point is, our membership puts a lot of hours of training in to better this community. That's at the end of the day, that's why we do it. That's why we get up in the middle of the night and respond on calls. So, with all that being said, a few months ago, the membership down at 6162 Westport Bay Road, we had a meeting. A vehicle was brought to our attention that was for sale from the Newark Arcadia Ambulance Building. And I know you guys are aware of this. You've had a discussion for the last couple months on that. It was brought up, it was presented, and it was approved that the membership to purchase that vehicle, to fuel that vehicle, to maintain that vehicle, right? And at the end of the day, we're going to turn that vehicle over to the village as a village asset, $10,000 or $9,000, I guess is what the car was. With that being said, that vehicle, like it or don't like it, it brings benefit to the fire department. Community response. People sees that. We look more professional. If somebody pulls up in front of your house and you see that, again, it shows professionalism. It shows that we're here to help you. Public visibility. Whether it's a strawberry fest, whether it's a parade, whether it's driving through the village. It's no different than the police vehicles out here. I mean, public policing, right? People see that. They're like, wow, that's nice. That's professional. They have a facility. They have a police department. Same as the chief's vehicle. That vehicle drives through this village. People see that. Young kids look up to that kind of stuff. Hopefully, they will join the fire department and say, you know what? I want to be part of that organization. All that going down, again, responding to meetings. Our chiefs, they respond to battalion meetings, county chiefs meetings. These are all things that we get in our personal vehicles and we drive to. We don't reimburse for mileage from the village. A company vehicle or a department vehicle, again, it shows a line of professionalism. You step outside of Wayne County, chiefs vehicles are common. Departments have them all over the place. Wayne County, maybe not as much here on the east end. You get up to the west end of Wayne County, they all have chief vehicles. So again, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's a personal attack. I don't know if it's an attack against the fire department. I don't know if it's a financial crisis. But the fire department and the fire chief came here and asked for the village to insure that vehicle. And there was some going back and forth. I understand that. So I don't know. So what I'd like to just to say and what I would like to do is somewhere, somehow, the communication, and Chris, I do look back and I had that conversation like you just made about the support. Yeah, we have support, but sometimes it feels like we're walking on needles to ask a question for something. I'm not saying you're not going to deny if we need to get hose testing. I'm not going to say you're going to deny if we need to get ladder testing, stuff like that. But it's like, we as the members work hard for this community, and we appreciate, again, I'm going to say this again, we appreciate all that the community does for us. Again, whether it's supporting us at a turkey raffle or supporting us through financial distribution, donations, we appreciate that. So I don't know what it is, but I just knew sitting here and watching these last couple months worth of this meeting, I had to come here and voice my concern. And again, I have a little bit of stake in this because, again, I have 34 years tied up in that fire department. And again, like I said, we do good, 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 and you never hear nothing. But when one thing goes wrong, everybody hears it. And again, 6162 is where the fire department issue should be handled. Not at the local coffee shops, not at the local diners, stuff of that nature. And that's what makes me a little bit upset. To see that and to see it be allowed. So I also look at the village put together a beautiful website. And I don't know who did that. Jack did that? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But I noticed one thing is missing on the website. The Woking Fire Department.
And that's nobody's fault. It's just that we just copied over what was there before.
It wasn't on the old one either.
Right. That we just copied over what was there before. And it's all you do is just call and say, hey, can we have
So I'm not blaming you, Jack, and I don't know you, but I'm not blaming you. I'm just stating the fact that, again, we are the largest department in this village.
So like I said, it's been there since way before any of us were there. He just copied over what was there. No one's ever once called and say, hey, can we have it on there? That's
It's a
all
good
I'm
idea
gonna
if you want it on there. I don't have.
We have no problem with it.
That is a good idea.
Jack just
I
transferred
just
what
don't
the
think
previous
anybody
one was.
really thought of it
Yeah.
until you just did. But yeah, you're right. It's a great idea.
But not
I
one
mean-
person made a phone call or asked me about it either, so.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, again, the members of that fire department are the guys and the girls to get up and go out for this community.
Right.
And to get overlooked like that,
If you think that was malicious, Ray, you're truly mistaken.
no, I'm not saying it was malicious, Chris.
So you can spin it any way you want.
No,
to.
see, that's,
And again,
that's.
now if you came and said to me, say, hey, just like you did, we're having this conversation, hey, what about us getting on the website? Now, Jack just said that
Yeah.
he just simply transferred what was on the previous website,
Correct.
and that's what he was asked to do.
And then we've been adding to it since
Yeah,
then.
so we don't have a problem, and it's in
Perfect.
flux, it's there.
Perfect. Thank you
What's
very
going
much.
on there?
I greatly appreciate that.
The other thing I will say, Ray, is that my understanding is that the chief's vehicle went into service today. Ryan texted me and said he was picking it up.
Yep.
And he was going to drive it. And so he asked me, I said, yeah, I believe so, you're ready to go. I was at the board meeting at the fire hall
Okay.
last week.
Yep.
And there was dialogue about that, and there was multiple conversations about other things. So to your point of bringing it to Westport Bay Road, I did.
Perfect. I wasn't at that meeting, Chris.
I'm aware.
I appreciate that.
So again, but one of the things I will tell you, and again, you operated differently than Jerry, and Jerry operated differently than Ryan does.
Yeah.
But one of the main things, and you know this because you're the one that called me about that vehicle that Ryan wanted to have, okay? Now, mind you, I'm also the fire commissioner along with being the mayor. Where does the fire department belong to? As you said it, the village of Woking, correct?
Correct.
So there are steps of progression to talk to. Hey, fire commissioner or mayor, we're thinking about getting this. What do you think about that? Not after the fact.
Perfect.
So some things are happening backwards. So what happens is that all of a sudden you're already past that before we even know about it. And the simple thing is just make a phone call. Come to a board meeting like you are. Or Henry's sitting here. The same thing. Again, we just have to have accountability. At the end of the day, we hold our responsibility to that. Good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever happens.
Correct.
But like I said, if there's something that you want to do or change something or add something to the mix, hey, this is what we like to. I can't make the meeting. I says, hey, you already told me about it. Let me bring it up to the board. Everybody be up to speed. We can't keep doing stuff post.
And I'm not gonna disagree with that. That vehicle came up Wednesday morning, I got that phone call. And I think I called you Wednesday morning-ish, midday.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yep. And that's when I called you. But at that point, we, the members, were purchasing that vehicle.
But it's my understanding this was a conversation that was something that was wanted ahead of time. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I was told. Not this specific vehicle, but there was talk of
Okay, see
a
that's,
chief's vehicle in the realm.
okay,
Unbeknownst to me until this came about.
Okay.
Through further conversation.
Yep.
So again, here we are today.
so that's, I guess I just wanted to get that out there to make it clear for our community, to understand again that we appreciate all that the community does for us. So, with that being said,
Right, were you also aware of the fact that a few years ago, we did try to do something for the, fire department as a thank you, but we were told that we can't because then it takes you into another,
I heard about that with the gas cards
Yes.
and stuff of that nature.
yeah.
And I understand that, and I appreciate that. And again, it's the little things that we do as a members of this community, as this department, is just to think like, why do they have to be like that? I just don't understand it.
Well, what is it you're getting at? What aren't we
No,
doing?
it's just like,
You're saying, why do they gotta be like that? You're insinuating something that I'm not
so
quite understanding what you're saying,
So
or we're
it-
not responsive to the fire department.
at last month's meeting, it was approved, but again, not without reserve, to insure that vehicle. Am I correct?
By who?
It was approved to insure the vehicle. The village would insure that vehicle.
We were looking at it at the lab before. We were looking-
At the last board meeting, it was approved that
You could, right?
we would approve that insurance on
The
that
very
vehicle.
last meeting, Ryan says, the fire department will cover it because I can approve up to $300.
Right.
It's all on
You just said
tape.
that.
So,
It's all
so,
on tape.
so what I'm saying is, meaning you approved to put it on the Woket Fire Department's policy.
Correct.
Okay, for a total of $298.
I think that's what it was, yeah. There was an estimate, yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
No
what
more
it
than
was.
300, no more than 300.
As long as the fire department paid for the insurance.
Correct, that's what the
Okay,
board.
so at this time, I'm gonna make a donation, Ray Wellington, to the village of Woket for $300 to pay for the insurance on that chief's vehicle for this year.
Make it to the fire department.
I made it to the village of Woket.
So in closing with this, so this is what you're most upset about. This is what I'm picking up.
Chris, there's probably a lot of things I'm upset about over the years in this department, but I'm just saying, I'm here tonight to present a $300 check to the village of Woket to pay for the insurance
So you
for that
and I,
vehicle.
thank you very much. So in this conversation that you and I had, and post that, because obviously we have it on, it's a live feed right now.
Correct.
The general public sees this. The multitude of phone calls, and it's a generational thing. You have our older population versus a younger population. It was not well received. And one of the main talking points of this is that, in my explanation, is that the fire department themselves bought it. That was the toughest thing for me to clarify, because as it was originally understood, and when you hear this broadcasted, that the Woket Fire Department chief is getting a vehicle to use for X. So of course that naturally explodes, because some people, along with myself, I personally don't think it's needed. And I brought up the example, you have M6 down there to use whatever you need it for training or wherever you may need to go. And that's my opinion. It may not reflect what the board's opinion is. But the general public received it as that. So on what we call damage control, which you know how to do that just as well as anybody, that I was making it clear that the fire department bought it themselves, okay?
Correct.
But at the end of the day, yes, once it gets insured, it becomes an asset to the village of Woket. But again, it was a want, not a need. In that meeting that I came down for the fire hall on Thursday, Gary Lockwood had brought it up as well, asking that same thing. It was interesting because you also said the same thing here. It's a perception. You look more professional when you pull up with it. In the 30 plus years that you have been in there, I don't think anybody ever questioned anyone pulling up to a house fire or an accident cared what you were driving, because you were there for one thing as a volunteer, is to help someone in the time of need. And I think that will always be there regardless of what's being driven. So again, there's a multitude of the the community that had no interest in this vehicle whatsoever, but then you have a percentage that also thought it was okay. So this is where we are at today with it. You have some that don't, some that do. So both sides of us, we have to work through this. And again, perception is reality, unfortunately, because now when they see the fire chief driving around, they're gonna go back. Chances are, and I'll almost guarantee it, that, oh my God, here our fire chief has a vehicle to drive around. And again, when you talk to that individual, no, they bought it for themselves with their fundraising money, not out of the village taxpayer budget. And this has been a talking point for weeks now.
So you're saying, and I'm not asking names, that's irrelevant. You're saying people in this community have came to you as the mayor of the Woket and stated that it's unnecessary for the fire department to have a chief's vehicle.
I get phone calls here too.
For the fire chief
For the fire chief.
to have a vehicle to use.
They were very adamant on social media
Very.
over it.
Yeah, it's again, like I said, and honestly, Ray, it's generational. It really
It is.
So the older generation, of our community, parents, grandparents, they're not for it. The more younger ones don't really have the thing because what I would say is today, sometimes the social media is a status thing.
100%.
So here we are in between it. This is where we're at.
So-
this is, and we have to work through it going forward. This is where we're at.
So I guess I would like to make this public or announcement here that if anybody in the community has any questions regarding that, I would be willing to talk with them and give the fire department side.
Well, so
Because-
and it's great that you would, right? However, I think it should be the line officers and or the fire department board. I mean, because honestly, these are the guys that are at the helm. Are they not?
That's correct. And again, that would be acceptable. Have them contact the fire chief.
Yeah.
If the people have the problems, I would say have them contact the fire
And
chief.
again, they don't have a problem contacting me either. And again, the biggest thing is that it was more so of spending taxpayer dollars. And again, did it alleviate it some? Yes, but on the flip side of it, I hope it doesn't affect your fundraising because they think it's going to go to putting tires and gas in it for someone to drive around.
Well,
So-
back when I was chief, I proposed that the fire department purchase it was a lease, three chief's vehicles. And it was through a company for $300 a month for a vehicle for a 3-year lease. $1,200 a month plus insurance and maintenance, minimal cost for our fire department. And it got shot down back then. Okay, understand that. And I understand that. But again, now is something that we are looking to turn the page and move forward into the fire department and do a little extra. Our fire chief, the amount of hours that are involved, forget about going to calls. I'm talking about dealing with insurance companies. I'm talking about doing fire reports. I'm talking about going to meetings. That list just grows and grows and grows. And again, that fire chief's vehicle cost minimal money for a little bit of a token of appreciation for our fire chief. Like it or not, that's the way it is. We had an active meeting with 20 plus members and everybody was agreeing with it. There was one question got brought up and that was brought up by Bob Marshall regarding the motor in the vehicle. And it was proved that it was the other motors. It was the better of the motors. That was the only question. And it was open for discussion.
Again, like I said, right? It's some like it, some don't. And again, like I said, I brought I had that conversation. I mean, we have M6 down there to use at your discretion that was already there and existing. You could have drove it every day and nobody would have questioned it because it was already there. This just changes the dynamics a little bit.
Well, I guess like I said, and I'll say this again, the fire department appreciates all the donations and any donations we receive from our community. And if anybody in the community has any questions, have them address the fire chief.
Yeah, that's fine. I have no issue with that at all.
Okay? So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ray. Jennifer,
Yes,
what can we do for you?
I also have some concerns regarding the fire department. So my concerns actually stem from what I feel and have heard through people, the disrespect shown to Chief Henry at their most recent meeting. It sounds like there's been things brought up that are more on a personal level or have deep-rooted issues personally instead of what his actual performance and duties are. One recent item that was brought up was the structure fire on Washington Street. Unfortunately, the house was a total loss. It's always easy to judge and kind of play armchair quarterback to an incident after the fact, because hindsight is always 20/20. It's easy to reach out to other departments to kind of get their views on the handling of things after the fact when those people were not there. They did not go out on the initial call. So it's easy to kind of consult other people and say, how would you have handled it when they weren't there? And I feel like
I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you a resident
I'm not a resident. However, I
of the
have,
village or town or?
no,
Okay.
but I have loved ones and people I care about here that are concerned and they don't feel comfortable coming and talking at the meeting because they feel as though at times it becomes unprofessional and the people speaking can kind of be belittled. So I wasn't worried about that and said that I would come and speak.
And you speak of, you have knowledge of the call that was here? Were you there or do you?
I wasn't at the call. The fire call?
Yeah.
No, I didn't respond to the fire call. But I mean, it's.
So your knowledge comes from what
Well,
of the
I've
call?
spoken with, what type of knowledge?
Well, you
the
were
fact that
making
there was a
mention of
fire?
there's other fire departments and conversation that was had with others that was not.
That was brought up to me from people within the fire department, that it was brought up at the last meeting. That you directly had reached out to other fire chiefs of other departments and previous chiefs to find out what they would have done and how they would have handled the fire.
I did, and I talked
Yeah.
to individuals on the scene as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I attended the board meeting for the fire department
Okay,
and asked the question. And along with our county coordinator, asked the same questions and was in agreement as well.
okay. I'm just saying that was
So
done.
there's no, I don't think there was any attack at all. There was a lot of questions asked with not a lot of answers.
Well, I feel like the questions they were never kind of the idea of giving kudos where kudos might be deserved as well, or like this was an issue and there could be retraining or something might need to be handled differently. I mean, every single call that people respond to, whether it be fire, EMS, police, it's easy to look back and say, well, I should have done this a little different, or I could have done this a little different. Would the outcome have been different? Likely not for most situations. So I'm just bringing up the fact that other departments were contacted, and I don't know if that's the right way to handle things when it seems as though then you're criticizing your own department to other departments, which kind of goes with the support. If even with the chief's vehicle, it's like you said, well, the community doesn't. Well, if you took a stand and shown publicly your support for the chief's vehicle and explained all the things that Ray did on why things would be beneficial, then maybe more people that don't understand it would get on board with it. If that makes sense.
It doesn't at all, because
It doesn't
the fact
make
is that
sense?
I did not support that vehicle. And I made it clear that I didn't support that vehicle. But I made it clear that the fire
Over
department
$300
themselves,
though.
I made it clear that the fire department bought it themselves.
Right.
The assurance purchase is a whole different ballgame. But I want to get back to this. You're talking about this meeting that I attended, and obviously you weren't there.
Right.
So
I was
this is, I'm just trying to figure how you have this information, you want to question me on this, when in fact I was
I'm
there.
not questioning you. I'm
Henry was there.
I'm literally giving my concerns, things that I have heard and been told, which I thought we could do here.
We surely can.
Okay, perfect. So that was my concern with that. Like you say, it feels as though then the support isn't handled if you're asking outside departments kind of what they would have done. It feels like then you're saying your own department didn't do it right and that another department may have. That's just my personal view on it.
Were you at the fire, Chris?
Yeah, I was there.
You were one of the first ones at the fire, weren't you?
It was Ryan and I.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Fact is, he brought a tanker, so.
Oh, we did?
I had to leave and go get one.
He had to leave and go get
But
one.
nevertheless,
Yeah.
it's it. And again, in the need of help, you do that, and that's what you guys need.
Yeah, we did a lot of it.
So what else do you have?
The fire department responding to cardiac arrests.
Mhm.
In the previous meeting, you didn't agree with that, you didn't understand kind of why. I know insurance was brought up or liability. It seems as though you'd want as much help at a scene as possible when you have a cardiac arrest.
Not. So for clarification on that, again, like I had mentioned to Ray in this conversation, step of progression. The fire department already decided to do that without any of us knowing,
Okay,
okay? So again, hey, fire commissioner, mayor, we're thinking about getting involved in this, what do you think? Before this, fire department never was directly toned out, they were called for help, additional help. So if they're gonna be toned out for an echo, I made some phone calls to some EMS, also talked to George, and said, hey, if we get involved in this, what are some of the things that I need to know about? Malpractice was one of the things that was brought up. I didn't see it in the policy. Ryan brought it up at that meeting, and I told him, whoa, wait a minute, I haven't got anything back from the insurance company yet. I'm waiting to see what this paragraph is that I'm not understanding or we're missing, and do we need to add it in there? That's all I'm waiting for. I don't have a problem with the fire department doing it, but I just want to make sure that we are covered. Because at the end of the day,
like you say, several departments do it, and I
But
think
there's-
it's obviously only to the betterment of your community.
it's never the
Ryan
fact
is
of not
learning,
helping.
we're all learning, and you have procedures for every aspect, every decision. Like, you go back to the vehicle, go back to wanting to help others be a first responder going to the scene, cardiac arrest. There's procedures for everything as insurance wise. Are they going to be protected if they go to a heart attack instead of because it's not a fire, it's not a vehicle accident, it's a different scene. You just got to make sure that we're covered by it. If
Right,
something
and I mean,
happens.
I watched the video of the previous meeting, he said he had looked into that.
Right.
And like I said, several other
So here-
departments in Wayne County do the same thing.
So here again, the buck stops here, okay? And again, I had explained
Everybody has-
that you can call the insurance company all you want, but I myself, Fran, our administration needs to have an understanding that everything, we are good to go. That's all we're asking for. And we reached out, and I'm still waiting for that to come back from the insurance company. That's
Well,
it.
I hope it does soon, because like I said, it's obviously,
I have no issue with it at all, but again, had I known ahead of time, we simply could have made that call, and I would have made the same phone calls that I already did, just to make sure that, hey, are we covered in these scenarios?
Right.
Because you can't ever ask too many questions. You can't ever dot your I's and cross your T's too many times, because again, at the end of the day, when something goes bad, it's not gonna be down on Westport Bay Road, it's gonna be right here. That's where it goes down.
so insurance would cover it if EMS specifically requested, and that's different than if they just responded upon initial dispatch?
That is my understanding from the insurance company. Because at that point, like I said, now the difference is that the Woket Fire Department will be toned out for echo calls.
Right.
Okay, and again, we've never, ever, ever done that in the past.
I
We've
felt
been
that
called
that,
to
So I-
help lifting or assist the
So
ambulance.
back when I was chief, we had a mutual aid agreement in place with Wayback at the time, that we responded on cardiac arrests.
Okay.
And that was something that we have done, and I don't know when that mutual aid agreement stopped.
I don't either.
When I went out as chief in 2014, I believe it was one of my last rounds as actual chief. It was still in place. So I don't know if the following two chiefs after that stopped, they did stop at someplace. But
I
we did
don't know,
respond
Ryan,
on all
that's-
It's a
cardiac
great
arrests.
idea.
That's all I wanna know.
Exactly.
As long as, and everybody's covered. That's the main thing. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I do wanna say Chief Henry always speaks highly of the department, the volunteers, the community that supports the fire department. I feel like as soon as things get questioned though, that people are quick to not support him. I don't know if that's just kind of how that goes when you're in charge, you know, if you lose support somehow, or if it has something to do with who's questioning things. But I hope that people, if they feel that they should be supporting him, that they do so vocally and not just quietly, otherwise, you know, that doesn't mean anything. And I kind of feel like those people should be ashamed if they let things get negatively said about anybody and don't speak up about it. Obviously, my concern is for the community, the people I care about that live within this community, and the Woket Fire Department is their response for that. I know it's been said too that Chief Henry has an ego. I mean, should he not really? Doesn't believing in himself and his department show kind of the type of leader he is. I know that can rub people the wrong way when you're strong and kind of fight against, I don't know if you want to say, you know, the people in charge, but I would think that the public doesn't want somebody that isn't strong and determined. Like I said, that can come across as a bad ego. I don't necessarily think that. I think that he's skilled and confident. Everyone can do with training and more learning all the time, no matter what their skill is. And I appreciate you guys listening to me. Like I said, I don't live within the community, but I have loved ones that do. And I would take his ego over a yes man and somebody that isn't confident any day. So I think he is dedicated and deserving, and I support Chief Ryan Henry.
You two work together, right?
We do. Mm-hmm. Trust me, there's plenty of people I work with that I wouldn't support. I'm sure we all feel that at
I
times.
appreciate what you guys do.
I appreciate your input.
Thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to talk.
So, account number 13, they didn't show up either, correct?
No, that number 13 is the one that I talked to you about before.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna come in.
No, they're not in the area. The one that was gonna come in is number 1.
All right. Well, I mean, we can't really move forward with that unless we have a request from them.
Okay, we're just going by what Ed said. I told them to contact us and put it
Yeah,
on.
we'll have them contact you and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
But I don't have a formal request from them.
Okay.
Oh, need a motion for the past meeting minutes of January 28th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve January 28th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion, all in favor? Abstract number 9 for $90,383.58.
Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion, all in favor? Facility use request. That was a change, right, Fran?
Yeah, so the party, they want to change to the first one.
March 1st, so
The fire department was aware of it.
Ryan's been contacted?
Yeah, they've all been contacted, yeah.
Amy talked to me.
Okay. Need a motion for that?
I just need a motion for the party.
Make a motion for March 1st,
Okay,
25 party.
okay, that's good, thanks.
Second.
Any further discussion, all in favor?
Time to go.
Close, we got executive, so. Answer that.
Yeah, put your stuff in there from,
Yeah, you can.
All right, everything I have is for executive, contractual. Misty, anything for the group?
Just that I did have a meeting with the Lions Club, and they would like me and you to go and have another meeting with them when they have their higher up there, which I can't remember their name. But anyways, I believe you might be busy those 2 days with appointments.
Well, confirm that date and then we will go from there.
Sounds good. That's all I have.
Marshall, anything for the group?
I don't have anything at this time.
Daniel's absent. David, anything for the group?
No, not today.
Okay. Henry, anything for the group?
No.
Jack? Matt?
No, sir.
Anything else, Jennifer?
No, thank you.
Ray?
All set, thank you.
Okay. Into executive at 7:40.
Thank you guys for coming. It was very nice.
Thank you.
what time, 7:30?
7:43 is what the clock says, not that clock.
Who seconded it?